How's it going, guys? My name's Oliver. Today, I just want to make a short, quick video explaining how exactly do I conduct my interviews, how do I hire my media buyers. Now, I've done maybe over 100 interviews now in my entire life. In my previous sales job, I was hiring salespeople. I've hired media buyers. I've hired cold callers, and now I'm hiring a bunch of media buyers for members of the program. So I'm well versed into how to interview, how to evaluate candidates, see if they'd be a good fit for my company and for your agency. So today I'm just gonna be sharing like a quick kind of game plan, like a checklist that I have in my head while I'm interviewing. And basically, how do I qualify them? So how do I see if they're actually competent, if they can deliver what I'm expecting them to deliver? As well as just like a couple of questions that I would ask him just to kind of see if we'd be a good fit to work together. So before we even start on that, where exactly do I find my media buyers? I have basically three sources. All right. First one is referrals. This is probably the best way. If you have a friend or you know someone who already has a successful agency and he's working with a media buyer, he might be able to refer you to someone else he knows, like maybe another media buyer he knows, or maybe use the same media buyer and kind of share him together, and he can work in multiple agencies at the same time if he is kind of like a freelancer. So that is probably the number one best way. All right, so how do you find these referrals? Join a community of people who have agencies as well. All right, I have a Discord group. If you guys want, you can join it. Maybe make a question, a post, and maybe someone in the group can refer you to a media buyer that they have that are either work with behind in the past or they're working with currently, and they can give you access to them. Second best way, Facebook groups. All right, there's a bunch of Facebook groups with media buyers for hire. There's Google ads, Facebook ads, like whatever service delivery you're doing. You can probably easily find a media buyer on those Facebook groups. I'd say the only negative part in Facebook groups is that because there are so many, most of them are not that good. All right, it's easy for me to just watch a hour-long training on YouTube and then qualify myself as an expert in Facebook ads. So you need a strong filtering system. You have to make sure you can separate the people who are actually good versus the people who are just starting out and maybe don't have the experience that we're looking for into our own agencies. Further on in the video, I'll explain to you how exactly do we qualify them. So you hire a bunch, and then what are the questions, what are the things I'm looking for in order to distinguish like these two types of media buyers that we can find, the inexperienced versus the experienced ones. Lastly, I'm not a huge fan of this way of getting media buyers, but I know some people have found like really good talent on there, and that is Upwork or Fiverr. There's a bunch of good talent. It's similar to Facebook groups. It's just a bit more condensed and a bit easier to find like decent candidates. The only thing that I don't like about those groups is that some of them are very, like, they want to stick with the website, the platform. So let's say that you hire them on Fiverr, they want to keep everything through Fiverr. And Fiverr takes a fee when you pay them, and it's just a bit harder to communicate with them because you're kind of working through like a middleman, which is Fiverr. So I prefer just starting off in Facebook groups and then finding my talent there because there's more than enough for everyone. Now, once you have a potential candidate, all right, you made a job posting on a Facebook group, you have a bunch of people who applied. How can I tell which person is good or not? Because they all seem pretty good. I know that's the dilemma I was facing when I first started hiring media buyers. So for me, there are three aspects that I look for in candidates to see if they would be qualified to be working with me or not. First one, how much money have they spent on advertisement? Whether it's Facebook ads, Google ads, ask them what kind of budget were you managing? What's your lifetime budget of like money that you manage in advertisement? Right? So maybe they've worked with a company that had a monthly budget of $2,000 per month in ad spend, and they worked with them for a year. All right, so in that case, they have about $24,000 in ad spend experience, which is pretty good. What I'm looking for is at least $20,000. I feel like that's a good indication of whether they're going to be good or not, and that's a high enough level that they have enough experience to know what they're doing. but it's also not a crazy amount of money that you're not gonna find any talent who has spent at least 20,000. Like it's perfectly doable. Like if they work with like a decent agency in the past, they easily have more than $20,000 in ad spend. So that's the first qualifying question. I want to ask them that: how much have you spent in ad spend throughout your entire life as a media buyer? Second question: what kind of niche do you specialize in? If you're working with plumbers, obviously the best case scenario would be to work with a media buyer who's doing your service delivery, so let's say Facebook ads or Google ads, in your specific niche. If they have all of those qualities, you are set. Like that is the best case scenario. Most of the time, that's not what's gonna happen. What I look for when I ask them like, what kind of niche do you specialize in, is are they in the same field as where I'm basically doing my service for, my niche. So let's say if I'm working with plumbers and I do Google ads, I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna do phone call leads, Google ads, plumbers. It's a local service-based business. Have they worked with other businesses that are local and that are service-based as well? So maybe they worked with roofers in the past. The concept is pretty much the same from roofers to plumbers. Obviously the niche is a bit different, but they're both local service-based companies. And for me, that's good enough. Once I have that information, I ask them for their case studies. Okay, obviously I want to look at their past experience works, see what have they done in the past, what does it look like, and this is going to be a good indication to see if this person is good or not. I simply like to ask them, look, do you have any case studies? Most of the time they'll share their screens, they're going to show like PowerPoints or stuff like that, and then ask them, all right, walk me through what it was like managing this ad campaign. What were the difficulties you faced? What kind of results did you get? What did you test? What didn't work? What worked? Like just give me the complete rundown of how this ad campaign performed. And simply by the way they explain, you can easily tell if they know what they're talking about versus someone who maybe could have screenshotted some case studies from someone else and used them as their own. So just hearing them talk about their own case studies, their own experience, it's a good indication of how good are they, how experienced are they in your service delivery. And these last two questions are pretty simple. One, you want to figure out what's a pay. Typically what I like to pay them is about $500 per month if it's Facebook ads. If it's Google ads, a bit higher, maybe $750 per month per client. I feel like that's a good kind of balance between not too cheap, not too expensive, kind of like a middle ground. Don't be cheap, right? These people are basically gonna carry your business super hard because they're doing a service delivery. Last thing you want to do is undercut the people who are helping you grow your business. I'd rather pay them more, but know they're gonna be doing a good job and they're gonna stay with me for a longer time. Don't be cheap when you hire people. This is one thing that I really don't like about people. When, let's say now I'm giving out cold callers. All right, we're paying them a decent amount of money. And some people tell me like, look, Oliver, some people are only paying them $3 per hour, $1 per hour, like stuff like that. It's like, yeah, we could do that as well, but this person is good. This person's willing to invest their time into building your business, and you want to undercut them already when we're already paying them like a pretty low wage, like $500 per month. All right, so don't be super cheap. These people are here to help you grow your business. Reward them for their efforts, for their works. Okay, it's not worth the hassle of undercutting everyone. And lastly, this is not really like a qualifying question, but it's something that I look for. What are their personality like? Are they a enjoyable person to have a conversation with? Okay, I think that's a very important factor because you're going to be working a lot with your media buyer. And if you don't like their personality, you don't like working with them, it's not going to be fun. All right, in the program, that's one thing that I look for too when I qualify candidates, like people who want to join. If in our little 30-minute call, I see they're like low energy, they're shy, they not really good at making small talk, like I can tell they don't really like, I don't know, like they don't have the energy, they're not, we didn't connect well together. Because I know I'm going to be working with these people so much, I'd rather spend that time working with someone who I actually enjoy working with and enjoy helping build their business. And that should be the same thing for your media buyer. Yeah, he might be good, he might have the niche, have the ad spend behind him and everything, the case studies, but if he's not fun to be around, then you're not really gonna like working with him, and in the long run it can hurt your business. It's not like a automatic disqualifying like aspect in hiring someone, but for me at least, like I know I could easily find like a bunch of people who are qualified for the work I'm looking for. So I'd rather be a bit picky and make sure I work with people who I actually enjoy being around with. So that's a basic quick rundown of how I qualify, how I find, and how I basically hire my media buyers. I hope this was useful. It's very important to note that you guys should get like a basic foundation of knowledge when it comes to hiring media buyers before doing the hiring. All right, because they can give you a quick rundown of the case study, how it went, and their metrics, their numbers, but if you have no idea what they're talking about, it's going to be kind of hard to qualify them. All right, so spend a couple of hours, buy like a basic course just to learn the basics of your service delivery, and then start doing the hiring. So that's a good trick you guys can use. Otherwise, I wish you the very best. I hope this was useful, and we'll see each other on the next video. Bye-bye.